everybody, welcome back. And this is a brand new episode for you of Better Car Washing Everywhere, coming to you live from the Arcadian Services booth here in Nashville at the Car Wash Show 2026. I am super excited for this next conversation. I'm super excited for every conversation, if I'm being honest, because I love learning about this stuff. And we're going to talk today a lot about chemistry, but specifically about how you use safer chemistry to make sure that you're maintaining your facilities in a way that makes sure you're always having an excellent customer experience. So to do that, I've got two very special guests. We've got Michael Seale with Adirondack Car Wash, and we've got Kipp Kofsky with Arcadian Services. Guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having us.
Are you guys ready for this or what?
Sure.
All right, let's fire it up. Let's get. We are getting a little loose here at the show. It's Tuesday.
Okay.
As we sit here, let's start off with just introductions. Give us kind of the 10,000 foot view of who you are, Michael.
Oh, that's a long one. Okay.
Let's give us the 50,000 foot view.
All right. I might have to do 25.
All right.
But so yeah, I started into the industry about 35 years ago, and I bought my first car wash, and I had never been through a car wash before. I bought my first car wash. And it was just a business decision, and I said, hey, this looks lucrative, and I did it. 21 years old. So, oh boy, that just put my age.
No, that was like last week. You're good.
Thank you. So anyway, I got into this business, and I didn't know anything about it. I had to learn everything. And what I found really quickly was that there wasn't a lot of help at the time to go out and get somebody to, work on this car wash or help me with decisions. I hadn't been to a show like this. So I didn't know about the shows, and this is before internet, keep in mind.
Oh,
okay.
Well,
Again,
now you did mark it.
Again, I just marked it. Okay. So I had to learn everything, and I learned everything really fast. So I started buying more locations because it was very lucrative, and I said, well, let's go on. I started this business called Adirondack Car Wash. So we're in the park. It's a 6 million acre park.
So it's a little one.
Little one. It's actually the largest park in the United States. That's not a national park. So I wanted to franchise, and I wanted to put Adirondack Car Wash in every small town in the Adirondacks. Mm-hmm. So good idea. Started out good. I got up to 12 locations, and I said, wow, they're doing so well. I can't sell these things. So I kept them all. So I kept doing that. And anyway, that moved me into I wanted to become a distributor for the sole purpose of getting a discount on all these units that I'm buying. I had no interest in selling car washes. So I got into the distributorship. So keep in mind, I got into it because I wanted them for me. I wanted them to work. I wanted reliability. I wanted customer service. So I didn't really care about how much money I was going to make on it. I just wanted that. So I went to all the manufacturers. I checked out everybody, and I settled on Bellinger. So it's a little plug for Bellinger. And because they actually had the most professional running business. So I did that, and after going to the show, going to the facility, I went in there and I chest pumped up high. I'm going to buy 6 of these things. And then I walked out of there going, can I just get 6, please? Because I didn't realize how big of an industry this was.
Would you please sell me something?
Please, yeah. I just want 6 of them. So I got into that, and then I got call after call after call. So it started me into the distribution of selling car washes, okay? And helping other people get to the point where I was at. But realistically, on the service side of it, is that I couldn't get anybody to fix anything. So I had to learn how to fix everything on top of doing, the running aspects of it and buying more and doing all the things that I was already doing. So it was shortly after that I was dealing with a guy that sold me all my products. And it was Zepp, actually, okay? So use that name. They got bought out by, actually it was Ecolab that bought them out, right?
Right, yeah, back then, yeah.
Right, Ecolab bought out, no, Zepp bought out Ecolab, I don't know, whichever way it went.
They came together.
Yes. And the service plunged, okay? So I said, I don't like this anymore. I don't like having a product company that doesn't help me, that doesn't service me. So I started, now I'm into the shows. I start going to those shows, from year after year after year, and that's how the relationship came in with Kipp. So I sometimes go out and I ask people, simple questions, and I don't want a salesman. I don't want to talk to a salesman. I want to talk to somebody who's real, that says, I want to supply you. I don't want to sell to you. And that was the relationship that I found with Kipp. And believe me, there's probably 100 of them here. And he had the right answers. So not only that, but I remember when I get started, I said one of the objects that I had was I did a special that it was a snowbird special. I wanted to catch everybody coming back from Florida. I'm in New York. So I wanted to catch everybody coming back from Florida, and what I learned was a big mistake. Big mistake, I did that because all the different dirt and bugs that came from Florida all the way through all the states was not, my product didn't take it off.
Yeah.
So I asked him, I said, what do you do? He says, you have to have the right product to take off that dirt. Like Arizona clay would be, the red clay, they have special products
Yeah,
that take
there's a
that
thing
off.
that does that.
It's not going to do anything for me, but it's going to do great for them. So we got started, and I remember started into the industry and started into his chemistry, and we put in a product and it wasn't sudsing up. Okay. And I called Kipp and I said, hey, it just doesn't look good. It's cleaning good, but I need a show. So he said, oh, don't worry about it. We'll add some foam surfactant. And he did. Special for me, for my location, and it was wonderful. And I said, and it did, and it worked. So I was sold, and then I started, going into more of his products, and he grew, and getting into more, even during the pandemic, he was a huge supplier for the
hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
And disinfectants too.
Disinfectants and whatnot. So yeah, it was a great relationship, and it's been growing ever since.
That's amazing. I mean, what a track to follow as you've kind of gone on that journey. And I think what I heard there that was really interesting was, you found Bellinger early on, and you were like, man, this is the group I want to be with. I love it. And you went in big, and you just wanted that really personal connection. You're like, oh shoot, this is a little bigger than I thought it was. But you still had a good relationship. And then as you move through with the chemistry supplier, it was the same thing. You're looking for somebody that you can build a relationship with, that you can trust, and that can help you grow your business in ways that's good for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I love it. Love it. Kipp, those of us in your booth right now know exactly who you are, but not everybody maybe knows your story and how you got into car washing and how you ended up owning Arcadian Services. Can you kind of just give us the elevator version?
Sure. I mean, I purchased Arcadian back in January of 2014. Wasn't in the car wash business, always been in the chemical business my entire career. I worked for a large multinational German-based company for the 25 years before that. Ran a lot of their businesses in many places throughout the world, and decided that, it was time for me to just be off on my own. Search for companies to purchase. My wife actually found Arcadian for sale on the internet, of all things. So I went down and looked at it, and it was May of 2013, and when I walked in, I knew I was going to buy it. Called my wife, I said, this is the company. So I didn't know much about the car wash industry, but I knew there was a lot of similarities to what I was doing, because we made a lot of industrial cleaners as well in my previous company. And we had to do a lot with, paint compatibility and metal compatibility and all that kind of thing. So a lot of similarities, and I knew that was something I could learn. So got into it, and this was just as really the car wash industry was kind of coming out of a lull. It was recession, and it was really just at the beginning when kind of the monthly passes were just in their infancy. So, and one of the things I saw was Arcadian at the time, their flagship product was a product called New Wall, which is still very popular today. It's known as the Cadillac of wall cleaners, but on the downside, it's a dangerous product to use, as most of the wall cleaners are. But we had a name recognition in that, and we also had a good name recognition in touchless chemistry. So those were really the pillars that Arcadian were built on, but there was so much more to get into that I saw as a future as the tunnels were coming on board, more tunnel chemistry. And one of the things when I saw New Wall, I loved New Wall as a product and what it did. It was so effective. But when I bought the company, one of my goals was to say, I want to make a safe version of New Wall. And people told me it couldn't be done. And if I'm given a challenge like that, I like to try and make that happen. It took a long time, And that's really kind of where we got to in where we are today in talking about the safer to use chemistry. So, but again, that's kind of my background on kind of where I got with Arcadian, and and then really getting in the transformation of the company, because when I purchased Arcadian, we were also a big equipment distributor. Much more, it was actually about 50% equipment, 50% chemical, and my background was chemical, so I really emphasized on growing the chemical part of it, and today we're 95% chemical and 5% equipment, so it's really been a transformation.
Yeah, that's a big shift. I mean, that is a big shift in the business. Michael, I'm curious, so Kipp was talking about new wall, right? And it's not the safest thing to use. It's not safe to use, really, unless you're kitted up, right? You got to wear the right PPE and all that kind of stuff. Talk a little bit about, I mean, I think you were using a version of new wall, but it wasn't new wall.
Well, no, it wasn't new wall, and so I get involved in a lot of different businesses. This happens to be one of them, is the car wash industry. So what I was doing was I was using this product called On and Off.
Yeah.
And it's for boats. And it's kind of how it sounds. It's a very, very strong, you spray it on, you spray it off. But you couldn't do it, you had to cover all aluminum, you had to, if it got on aluminum, it would literally eat it away. You had to be very careful about everything that you put it on, and how it was going on to where it went into a drain. You had to be careful not to be too close to a drain that was going out to a stream or anything like that. And not only that, but you had to suit up. It was super strong, and so is new wall. And you had to literally have a mask on. You had to put glasses on. If you didn't trust the person, you'd want to see him in a hazmat suit. I mean, you didn't get it on you at all. Gloves, you name it. And then when he came out with the C3, it was amazing. It was amazing. It did exactly the same thing as this super dangerous product that we were dealing with. But if you got it in your eyes, you could just wash it off. If you got it on your hands, you just wash it off. If you could use it for cleaning houses where there's pets. That you couldn't do that with the other products, because they had pets there. They could die. They could ingest it, and they could die. And you could do this on it in Lake George, one of the cleanest lakes in the United States. I think it is actually the cleanest lake in the United States now. And you could do it right at the waterfront. And so it was just an amazing breakthrough. And I can't say enough about it.
Well, it's pretty incredible to think that that's even possible. Kipp, I'm curious, when you think about the development of that product line, and specifically, you went after this thing to make a safer chemical to use. But to do that, it still had to produce results, right? It still had to do the same thing. How did you kind of approach that? How did that work?
Well, I started researching alternative chemistries, and I think we probably had 5 versions of this before we said this is good enough to put out there. It took us probably 4 years of development for this, and big investment, and we put it out to a bunch of people in the field to test it. And the first products were good. They would clean certain surfaces. They would be great on fiberglass, but wouldn't work on brick, or they wouldn't work on a painted block wall, or they wouldn't work on some of the metals. So we kept on making new versions so it would cover, because when you go to new wall would clean just about anything. Now you had to be careful. You couldn't put new wall on glass, because if you let it sit there very long, it would etch it.
Yeah.
Where this product, that's what we wanted to be able to clean the glass without etching, because especially in these tunnels, how many tunnels today have just mountains of glass walls? Well, this product will actually eat through all the calcium lime deposits and clean it and restore it to new. So, and without etching. So that's where we wanted to get to. It took a long time, but we also wanted it where, it's got a 1 pH to a very low pH. We still tell people wear safety glasses and wear gloves, but if you get it on you, I've gotten it all over me. I'm still here. It doesn't even turn my skin red. If somebody has a skin allergy or something, it can give them a rash, but we've had no injuries. I could tell you some of the top tunnel operators in the U.S., they've reported since they've been using C3, they haven't had one lost time injury or one workers' comp claim since they've gone to this. And before, when they were using the heavy acid-based cleaners, that they were having a lot of occurrences. The C3 doesn't have any of the usual elements. It doesn't have any phosphoric acid, hydrochloric acid, hydrofluoric acid, ammonium bifluoride, muriatic acid. It doesn't have any of that. A lot of people go to Home Depot and get muriatic acid to clean. Then they get hurt or it damages something. Again, this is free of all that. So, and that's the difference, and that's what that's what we're proud of, and then the results speak for themselves. So,
well, and I think I don't know if it was C3 or if it was the C14 stuff, but last year when we were in the booth, I know David did a demo where he poured it all over his arm, and I was a little bit afraid for him in that moment.
Well, that's even our newer product, C14, and he's still doing it here in the booth today.
And he's still with us.
He's actually still demoing with us. He's still demoing C14 today.
Yeah.
Now C14, what happens is even a product like C3 with the low pH, there's certain metal compounds it can flash stain. You gotta be very careful. Most of them it won't, depends on the element of it. So what we did, after operators came back to us, they said, well, some of these arches we can't clean with the C3 or any other acid. What do you have? So we developed the C14, which is on the opposite end of the scale. It's an alkaline cleaner and degreaser. It's skin safe and metal safe. Totally non-corrosive, and if anybody wants to see it, we can show you. David will spray it all over them, but we can show you with metal coupons we can put inside a competitive product, ours, same pH, and our C14. It'll eat that panel in their competitive 13 pH product. C14 does nothing to it. So that's, again, totally skin safe, metal safe, and that's been a real revelation. Again, a lot of tunnel operators using it to clean all their metal surfaces, and it really does a great job on any greasy or surfaces. End of the tunnel, if you've got your tire shine applicator that gets all that silicone and everything on it, it'll clean all that up, it'll clean the concrete, so all that kind of stuff. So, and again, it's on the total opposite end of the pH scale, so we cover both.
David's not sitting at this table to be able to defend himself here, but I don't think that he probably signed up for pouring chemistry all over himself when he took the job.
Well, but that was his idea.
That's true. That's fair. That's fair. So I guess maybe he did sign up for it.
Yeah, but we actually, when we demo it here, he actually put the pH probe in the solution to show people that this is a 13.5 pH, and then he pours it on himself.
Yeah. Which is it. Yeah, it's an excellent demo.
Yeah.
It's terrifying in the first moments, and you're like, oh, we're all good. This is good. I want to back up a little bit. So we jumped right into kind of product specifics, but I want to talk to you, Michael, a little bit about the theory of it, right? Like why does this matter? Why do we need safer chemistry? Why do we even need to bother maintaining facilities? It sounds like a dumb question.
It's not dumb. No, it's not. And one of the things that I have a lot of meetings with my employees, and monthly meetings between different businesses, but they all relate back to the same one common denominator, and it has a lot to do with safety. Okay, so employee safety, and it comes down to, like, I own hotels, and we talk about MSDS sheets, just like we have MSDS sheets, which materials safety data sheets, that are so important to know, because you don't have most people have no idea what to do. Like, just for an example, if somebody was to eat or drink an acid, you would not want to drink water afterwards. Now that's going to spread it all through your system. So you need to have a general idea of what to do. So I start out with this fire extinguishers. How many people that don't know how to use a fire extinguisher? You'd be amazed. Okay, pull the pin first. Okay, So I would give them examples of how this could happen, how quickly this could happen. So that one of the things I use is like never put anything in an unmarked bottle. Like we had one time I had a pool, the health department came and they said you need to put more chlorine in the pool. Now chlorine in a pool is different than chlorine that you'd see in bleach. It's much stronger. So I poured it into a Mountain Dew bottle, and I brought the Mountain Dew bottle up and I poured it into the pool because I wanted to jump the number really quickly, right?
Shock it up.
And then I brought it back down. I didn't use all of it, and I brought it back down and I put it down. Now I use the example, the pool guy comes in and he walks in with a Mountain Dew bottle, he's drinking it, and he sets it down on the other side of the building. And now he walks out and he goes, oh, that's my Mountain Dew. And before you know it, he's got 3 glugs down. Before he even tastes that it's actually chlorine. And that's how quickly something like that can happen. So safety is huge. And I always, this is one of the other things I say, you guys love me, I love you, I'm a great boss, you're great employees, but when it comes down to you lost a leg or you lost an eyeball, I said, the only reason you're going to know my name is on the lawsuit. Michael Seale. And that's it. So, and I know that, and I'm okay with that, but I also know that we can avoid that whole situation and using products like this instead of products like that.
Yeah, it's a big piece. It's a big piece. But I mean, at the end of the day, it has to produce results, and that's the difference, right? You're able to use, there's a line you walk between safe chemistry and chemistry that works, and when you don't have to worry about using unsafe products to still get really great results to maintain an excellent facility, that feels like a game changer to me.
It is.
Why wash your brushes? Why wash the walls? Why? Well, they're just going to get dirty again, Michael.
You want a clean facility, you know. And I said this, and I use this in my meetings. Now, I'm not into gas business, but I would say now this it's a bad example. It's a bad example because this company's out of business now. But Hess, you remember Hess?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I would drive out of my way to go to the Hess station, and right across the street would be cheaper version gas, okay? Small station, you know, like they would be 10 cents, sometimes 10 cents cheaper in the gas and the fuel. But I kept going to Hess, and I didn't understand it. It's in my head. Why am I going to Hess? You know why? Because it was bright, it was clean, and everything worked. Now, experiences in the other place, receipt printer didn't work, it's dark, dingy. I wouldn't want my wife going there at 1 o'clock in the morning. Where the Hess would have no problem. Bright, clean, you know. So yes, you have to keep your facility clean, neat, and keep in mind that it's the customer's approach, not yours, not on how much money I'm going to make. I don't have to clean these things. They're going to keep producing money. But I want to know what I would want if I drove into my car wash.
Yeah, that's a big piece of it, right? I mean, you got to keep it clean, and really it comes down to if you don't look clean, why would I trust you to clean something of mine?
True.
Why would I ever do that?
Yeah, and if you think about it, a car is in some way probably a very high percentage of people, their most expensive investment in their life. Because if they rent an apartment, they don't own a house, that is their most expensive investment. And they're driving that and they're trusting you to wash that car.
Yeah, to take care of it. I think that's fascinating. I mean, I think we've gotten much better as an industry of believing in routine maintenance and taking care of things, and that's gone a long way to change kind of that stereotypical car wash image, right? So we're much more professional these days. Kipp, I'm curious about your stance on this, right? I mean, it would be easy as a chemistry supplier to just say, well, we've got this product that works. Why are we going to put in all this time and energy to change something that obviously can produce results, even if it's a little bit risky? Like, why make safer stuff?
Well, to me, risk is a huge thing in any business. And a lot of operators are also recognizing that. And I also think we owe it to the employees of these companies to run a safe and work environment. And when I look at the chemistry used inside these car washes, what people don't even realize, you go in the back room of a car wash, a lot of chemicals have a corrosive label on them. And people don't even know that. they have flammable labels on it, and there's a lack of training in that, and we're trying to make people aware that there are inherent dangers in doing this stuff. And I came from a very safety conscious industry where regulation is much stricter than the car wash industry, and I think if you talk to especially the larger operators, there are so many more safety and OSHA audits going on and EPA audits going in this. They're requiring eye wash stations, and a lot of car washes don't have an eye wash station, which shocks me.
Yeah.
But their OSHA's coming in saying, demanding they have an eye wash station. They're coming in and doing audits to make sure they have the SDSs there. They're doing audits and making sure if you've got a flammable chemical in there, like a drying agent, that it's segregated in a separate area and under protection, because those are what's required in most workplaces. So to me, I think it's the right thing to do, it's the moral thing to do, and the responsible thing to do. And when I look at the lack of availability of these safe chemicals, that's where I think we, as the owner of a business in serving the industry, that we have a responsibility, and that's why we wanted to create this technology to have an option. So if people don't, in general, these products can be more expensive because it's next age technology, it's next generation stuff that isn't commoditized and not readily available everywhere. It's very specialized. So you're going to pay more for the raw materials that go into it, thus a more expensive finished product. So some people are still going to say, you know what, I don't care. It's the HF doesn't bother me because, you know, I'm the one doing it, I'm suiting up, and I'm going to save the money. Where the other people, where you've got 10 or 15 or 100 or 200 or 1,000 employees that are doing these daily maintenances in a car wash, do you really want them exposed? It's no different with these large chains. They've hit, with the number of workers' comp claims and lost time injuries, they want to get away from that. It's a huge cost. And then you also talk about what Mike talked about earlier, the effluent of the chemistry. Where's it going down the drain and what's in that? And that's being monitored much closer.
It is.
So it's really, there's so many factors that go into it that this, I mean, again, I just felt a responsibility to kind of do this.
Yeah. Well, and it's nice when your values line up with the opportunities to make money as well. I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
that does help.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'd be lying if I didn't say it was true. It is, but it's helping people. I mean, it's helping the operators. The last thing I want to do is see somebody hurt in our plant, because you have to imagine we're dealing in my facilities where we make everything. We've got dangerous chemicals we're dealing with every day, but our employees are used to it. They have to suit up in hazmat suits and have every bit of them's got to be covered up, you know, with boots, and they've got with gloves. So that's the difference.
We're going to just hang on for just a moment while we have a booth crawl announcement. We don't get it. We don't get a beverage here. we are working, Michael. That's what we are doing. This happens every year.
So you know what? It makes you pay attention to it.
Does. It sure does.
Normally it's just noise, white noise.
Just noise. Well, so that is the booth crawl announcement. I do have just a couple more questions for you guys before we can maybe go enjoy a beverage together. The first one is, I just really want to hear from Kipp. You know, I've had a chance to spend some time with you last year at the show, and then a little bit of time with you this year at the show. And one thing that always seems to come through from the people who are around you is that they really value how much you care. And I'm just kind of curious to you, if you could just share a little bit about your approach to relationships and building those relationships. Because one of the things Michael said at the very beginning was he found you, and you had the kind of relationship and the kind of answers and the kind of support that was really important to him. So can you just talk kind of about your philosophy in general?
Yeah, I think I have a different philosophy than a lot of people. For instance, if you call our office, I don't get my telephone calls screened. They go to me. I talk to everybody. I've always felt, if you think you're this big owner or CEO of a company and you do that kind of stuff, and that you become an elitist, and that's the last thing I ever want to be. I mean, I was, born and raised in a blue-collar household, and those are the values I've always carried. I always care about the people that work for me, that I'm around, but I like to do business with people that have the kind of same traits. I'll tell you something about this guy. When I was down really sick, spending a lot of time in the hospital, he called me like every other day to check on me. So, which is amazing when you think about the relationship. But that's the relationship I have with, a lot of the people we deal with.
Yeah, it goes much deeper than transactional.
It is. That's definitely not transactional. So, it becomes a personal bond, and I think that's a big part of it. So, and I think part of that also led to one of the other products we didn't even talk about yet. Wrap Renew is another safer chemistry product. You talk about that product. We got that from input from people in the field. They said, Kipp, we can't clean this stuff. The foam wraps and emitters and the cloth. You need something. We need some in this industry to clean this stuff. So we took that under our wings, and this was a team effort. We had not only David, our chemist, developing this, but we had Alex, who's in charge of repairs and maintenance and does all our installs and technical stuff. He actually was intimately involved in all the field testing of this, and he came back after testing this in the field and told David what it did and what it didn't do and what we needed to do to fix it.
Yeah, that's great. Are you using Wrap Renew?
I am.
You are.
Yes.
So I've seen the videos of the thing, and I think after this episode we're gonna get to do a little bit of a demo of it. But can you just talk about this product, because
Sure.
it's pretty amazing.
I did, and no matter what product it is, you have to use it the proper way.
Yeah.
And when I first tried this product, I sent my guys out into the tunnel and they said, hey, this is going to work on these brushes and clean them, and then you spray, you put it on there and we'll take it off. And I told them exactly what to do, but they didn't do exactly what I told them to do. They went and they sprayed it on, and literally the other guy had the spray gun
right behind him,
and he's right behind him spraying it off. So he's spraying it on, he's spraying it off. So they came back to me and they said, it didn't work. Well, not so much it didn't work. He said, we're done. So I went back out and I looked and I said, well, it didn't work.
Yeah.
It's not a good product. And then I said, well, how did you do it? And they told me. And then I watched the video, because we have video in every one of the tunnels, and they didn't do it even they told me they did. I watched what they did, and they did it exactly what I said. They sprayed it on, sprayed it off. So I said, you need to spray it on, leave it on for a few minutes. Everybody knows this. Dwell time is important, no matter what it is. If you were to take a white shirt, and you wanted to, had a stain on it, and you took some bleach and water, and you dipped it in, pulled it back out, it's not going to do anything. It's still going to be there. Yeah. You got to leave it in there for a certain amount of time. And it's designated. It says how long it's supposed to be on there, and he says how long it's supposed to be on there. So I had him do the entire job again, and it came out wonderful. Yeah. And I have pictures of it. I showed him that it was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it takes brushes that look black and restores them to looking like new.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. Renew.
That's it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And a lot of people just they buy new brushes.
Right.
That's what they do.
Right.
They don't clean them. They'd say, well, this is past the point. And
I can never save those. Those.
It's not going to come out.
But you think about that for a minute. So you're getting your car washed with dirty brushes.
Yeah, every time.
I mean, but think about that for a minute. So it solves a big problem and a big need in the industry. And again, this is also another safe product. It's a 10.5 pH. You get all over, you're not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
I still tell people, wear gloves and safety glass with any chemical you're going to use. But at the end of the day, this is where we really have been making the investments to have safer products so people don't get hurt.
Yeah, I've got one last question for you guys, and this one's pretty easy, I think. I just want to know, what's one thing that we can be doing today that's going to make us better tomorrow? And this can be a thing from personal life. This could be car wash related. Wide open, world is your oyster. One thing we can do today to make us better tomorrow.
I mean, number one is treat everybody how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
I mean, that's number one in my book. I mean, I don't care what level you are, from the poorest of the poor to the richest of the rich. I treat them all exactly the same.
Yeah.
I don't bow down to somebody that's super rich. I don't treat somebody that's super poor. That's like in any different way. So it's respect. It's just general respect. And you have to have that. If you don't have that, I don't know where you're going.
Well, you're not going to have many friends.
Well, no, you can have friends.
Not good ones.
You can have friends, but it's not going to be true friends.
That's right. That's right. They're not going to call you when you're in the hospital.
Right.
I mean, they're not going to do that. Kip, how about you? One thing we can do today that's going to make us better.
A lot of it would have been exactly what he said. I mean, I will tell you, just treating people and being treated with respect. I mean, it's the same way. I mean, he's dealing with hotel people. I mean, just all over the place. And I'm dealing, even in my factory. I mean, I don't care who it is in my company. I run an open door policy. If you're blending products, or you're running a forklift, or you're packaging, anybody in my company can walk my office any time of day and sit and talk to me.
Yep.
I have total open door policy. And I think that's so important as just an owner of a company, or really just anybody, that if you're working in a company, to me, I just think if you start shielding yourself from people, it's a problem. And I just think, and I also think doing things morally and responsibly and doing the right thing, it's just a huge part of it. And and I think everybody gets so lost in the moment, and then you can't see through the forest through the trees, and it's really hard sometimes to get through all that.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, Kip. I mean, you're right. Sometimes we are so in the day-to-day that we forget to step back and say, well, hold on a minute. Let's just be kind to everybody. Let's treat people the way we want to be treated. And at the end of the day, that's good for everybody. That's good. Yeah. That's good for them. That's good for you, because you feel better if you're being kind to people and not being in an angry, grumpy mood. So I think that's really great. I just want to say thank you so much for spending some time here in the booth with me and recording this episode of the podcast. So thanks for sharing some of your story.
Matt, thanks for everything you do as well. You are so good for the industry. I just really appreciate it.
And it kind of drives the point home, a lot of people don't really get it. Until you actually talk about it and bring up these points, people don't get it. People aren't told. People aren't upfront with it. And that's why I do the meetings. Yeah. Just like you're doing the podcast. It's the reason for it. And it's very helpful.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. I am not very good at taking compliments, so we're going to jump out of that and go right into just a thank you to everybody for tuning in. We are live here in the Arcadian Services booth at the Car Wash Show 2026 in Nashville. I'm Matt DeWolf, host of Better Car Washing Everywhere. You can catch us wherever you are catching your podcast content. We are going to close out right now. We may come back if we can move all of our gear to the other side of the booth. We're going to try to get you guys a little bonus demo of the Rapper New we were just talking about. Now, otherwise, when you're out there, there's only one thing you got to do. I'm bringing this back. Keep it clean.
Nice.